Hello, YouTube. All right, believe it or not, this is the same day as this morning where I showed the sky without a cloud on it. Yeah, I was over at the library talking about pets in a van and how water evaporates, causing the air to cool down, and how there was not a cloud in the sky. But here I am, it is afternoon, and just like that, the clouds are forming, and it was sprinkling earlier, and it's probably going to open up and pour here in a moment. But this is typical Florida weather. It's like been raining almost every afternoon, and not just raining, like really bad rain, like with thunder and lightning and hellfire and brimstone. As you can tell, I am driving Little Blue. I did meet up, with my daughters. I actually have two daughters now. And they took me to get the RV. So the RV has been moved. So at this point right now, the RV is safely where it needs to be, at the RV park. And I am just heading back with Little Blue. So for the first time in a long, long time, probably about a year or more than a year ago, probably about a year ago, I am now in a semi-normal living arrangement in that I will have the RV parked somewhere secure where I can use it, and basically as if it was a tiny house off wheels, off grid on wheels, with electricity, with sewer, air conditioning. Oh my goodness, I'm actually gonna have air conditioning. So I'll have air conditioning, pretty much unlimited power, and we're not talking solar, we're talking unlimited real on-grid power, and running water. I'm going to try to get the RV shower system working. Although I had a little scare yesterday at the end of the day, the RV sink stopped working. The water pump stopped working. But I know it's low on water, so I don't know if it stopped working because it's out of water, because I did add water. I added like 2 gallons. But then when I tried to pump, it still wasn't pumping. So today, I got to go add water to the tank, and then I'm going to try to pump again, and hopefully it'll pump. If it doesn't pump, we get to troubleshoot what went wrong, why the water pump isn't working on the RV. It was working fine, and then I used it till the water ran out completely, and I added some water, and it won't work. So we'll add more water, we'll fill the tank up and see if it fixes it. If not, we get to diagnose what's wrong. But it'll be nice to have that thing, be able to dump sewer. So I basically will have the bathroom. The bathroom's not really nice. It's the floor is lifted so it won't get wet. And if I can get the shower working, if I can get the shower completely working, I will be able to shower inside the RV. Which I know for people who live in a house, it doesn't seem like that big a deal. But for anyone who's living in a van, lately because of all the fitness facilities shutting down, having the ability to turn a knob and have water come out, that is a big deal. I take a shower right now in the RV, but I use the jug of water. I use about 1.5 to 2 gallons of water each time. So being able to turn the faucet and have water come out, that would be amazing. So that's what my hope is to get that working. I also need to wrap up the painting. Painting is like a mess. The RV is semi-painted, and I had to take stuff off the walls, paint it, let it dry, put stuff back on the walls, because I couldn't let the items just sit scattered all over the RV. So this next day or two, probably this weekend, the rest of this weekend, I'm going to be trying to organize the RV to make it livable, even though it's not fully done. And, here you can see there's water. There was water on this road. So it had rained here earlier. I don't know if you can hear the water there going underneath the tires. So this area here got showers and stuff earlier. So Anyhow, we're back to my mug. Try to not be so close. All right. Basically, I am heading out to the RV. It's like an ambulance out there. Something happened, some kind of accident or something. I'm headed out to the RV. I'm like exhausted because I had to travel all over the county. I had to travel up and down to transport the RV, transport my daughters. My daughters got to hang out with each other. That was nice. I took them all out and we had Chinese food. That was good. So I'm actually, I know I don't seem too excited just because I'm wiped out. It's been a long day. But I do feel really excited because I get to, right now the RV's not hooked up. The only thing I hooked up was electrical, because I hooked up electrical and turned on the air conditioning. So then I left it. So hopefully the air conditioning and the refrigerator will be cold when I get back. Oh, that reminds me, I didn't buy any food. Darn it. Should have bought some food. I don't know if I should buy food today. Maybe I will buy some food. I'll stop by the supermarket and get some food. Maybe I will do that. Yeah, I think I will. I'm going to go ahead and head by the supermarket and get some food. So, for the first time in a long time, I'll be able to get some veggies and some meat to cook up tonight. So maybe we'll do a cooking with Denoy return, to cooking with Denoy in the RV today. Maybe even live. But I'm excited. I'm excited because I'll be able to get some meat and freeze it, so that if they shut everything down, at least I'll have meat for like a week or two. As long as they don't shut power off at the RV campgrounds, I'll be able to run the freezer and have basically cold food, frozen meats, vegetables, fruits, cold drinks, which I had some cold drinks because I was taking ice and stuff, but it'll just be nice to have like a house, basically. The RV will be like a house. And once I get the networking all set up and then get the software installed, I could end up playing, when my son comes to hang out or whatever, Diablo 2 or something. I want to introduce him to like Diablo and Diablo 2 and maybe a game called Descent. I don't know if you guys ever saw Descent. It's like you're in a spaceship in a mine back in the day. Speaking of Descent, it's like a 3D engine. I had an interesting situation occur that I thought was kind of cool. Or not really cool, but I had to tell my son. He was actually impressed for some reason. But I don't know if you guys are familiar with the game. Was it Fortnite? And that's put out by a company called Epic. Epic, the game used to be called Epic Mega Games, but Epic is actually owned by a guy by the name of Timothy Sweeney. And believe it or not, I sort of know him. Tim Sweeney was, I think, one of the founders, one of the originals for Epic Mega Games, which is not Epic. And how they became so rich was they created a game engine called Unreal. So if any of you play those first-person games, nowadays, it uses the Unreal engine. Unreal was an engine, a game engine put out by Epic. Or Epic Mega Games, but it became Epic Games. And Tim Sweeney is now a multi-billionaire, a gazillionaire. He's like a multi-billionaire. But what my son thought was interesting was that at one time in the industry, Tim Sweeney actually contacted me to work for me. Because I had my game publishing company was starting out, and I had put out a call out for other software developers, and I got contacted by Timothy because he wanted to do some music for me, for my game, Legends of the Silver Talisman. But I ended up going with, I think, Akintunde and what's this other guy's name? I forget the guy. Oh gosh, I feel bad, I forgot his name. But I went with 2 other musicians that I already hired for that project, and ended up not hiring Timothy. But Timothy was already fairly big at that time. Epic Mega Games was already pretty big. They were self-publishing. So, but he wanted to publish through Interactive Arts, and I turned him down. So my son's like, "Do you have any of the letters, Dad? Do you have any of the emails?" I don't think I have them unless they're on the server. This is like years ago. But that's how far back I go as far as trying to make games and stuff. It's all like basically fate, or your almost like your what's it called? Your future, your path in life. I could have ended up as a software developer making video games. It could have been like as big as Epic Mega Games or Epic Games or Epic, which is now producing Fortnite and selling or licensing Unreal game engines. But that wasn't the path that was intended for me. Instead, I ended up on YouTube as a broken homeless vet. So that's how life can do its little weird twists and turns. But I've had some interesting experiences, through all of this, and even before all this, which maybe I'll share with you guys once we're in the RV and settle down and can start dealing with just having regular vlogs, kind of like vlogs, just little chat sessions, because I think a lot of people enjoy the live because it gives them a chance to catch up with each other. People use this as, those of you who are as old as me, you might remember the AOL chat rooms. So people use this talking session with me just blabbering on and on and on as an opportunity to chat with one another, connect and catch up. But we may start doing some of those from the RV. Like you guys can chat over me just talking nerd stuff. So I wanted to show off some nerd stuff. I'm going to be releasing a lot of my old software into not really the public domain because I still want to retain the copyright on it, but I'm going to release it as freeware, or donationware, but because I could use the money. Otherwise, I just put it out as freeware. You don't have to pay anything. Donationware, I'll be putting it out for free. Anybody can use it for free legally, and if they want to send money, they can. But basically, I'm going to re-release some products that I developed that never got fully released or marketed, including software that could be useful for schools and companies, or even people that do like TV production, or even YouTubers. Believe it or not, I have a teleprompter that I've written. This is all stuff that's like about 20 years old, but they still work fine. So I'll show it off and package it to make it available for download, so anyone who wants it can have it for free. And if you find it useful, for like your company, like you do video production or live TV production or whatever, it can be useful. I don't know if it would be useful on the professional end, because professional companies have better equipment. But if you're like a small little one YouTuber or something like that, it might be useful. It was designed specifically. I told you I was a programmer. I wrote the software myself for students to use in TV production class. I used to teach TV production, believe it or not. But I wrote the software because there was no existing software that was cheap. The ones that were available were commercial and they were expensive. They're what broadcasters use. So I wrote my own version, which was a lot cheaper because I wrote it. And also, it was designed specifically with kids in mind. When I say kids, I mean like elementary school kids doing TV production. So the software is very easy to use. And what's amazing is I was able to dig it up. I told you I found the old computer and all that, so I've been going through old software. And I was able to find a CD that actually had the software on it that worked. So I don't know if I can access the source code and fix it and stuff, but I was able to get a working copy of the software. So I'm going to try to repackage that for distribution. And when I was looking at it, I was like, I had remember when I wrote that, and I had said it when I wrote it, that software was designed to be usable forever, pretty much, as long as Windows continued to support the Windows programs from that era, which they've gone through all these different versions of Windows. But what makes it interesting and is prompting me to release it again for free is, you remember the computer I found that someone threw away? It had Windows 10 on it. And Windows 10 is the latest incarnation of Windows. When I wrote the program, I think we were dealing with Windows XP. Windows XP was the system that was installed on computers. Windows XP and Windows 2000. But the program was designed with Windows XP in mind. It might even work under Windows 98, 98 or XP. But probably XP was what was being used in the school at the time, if I recall correctly. But I ran the program as is under Windows 10. And it fired up and worked perfectly. So I was like, holy schmoly, my program worked from the year 2000 up to 2020. That's a 20-year-old program that still looks usable. Could be useful now. Before it was designed for schools, but now it could be, YouTubers could use it. So you can use it to call up graphics, slideshows, and sound effects. And if you want, you can also use it as a teleprompter. It has teleprompt mode. So, it's really useful. And what's interesting about it, when I coded it, at the time, so I don't know if this will work under under Windows 10, because this seems to be security stuff. But at the time, you could code a program under Windows to call up another program and run it. So the slots, because it had all these slots that you could put things in. You could put a picture, you could put a movie, you could put a slideshow, you could put a song, you could put a CD, you could put whatever you wanted in it. As long as Windows could detect it and play it with Windows program or another program, whether it be PowerPoint, remember PowerPoint presentations. It could even put up a website, a web page. That's how versatile I made the unit. So instead of just storing graphical stuff, it would store anything and let you call it up and use it. I remember making a joke back then, 20 years ago, saying, if they ever have holographic movies and stuff like that, holographic TV production things, my program would handle it. And the truth is, if they did, which they didn't, but they have 3D file formats and 3D things now, my program will handle it, even though it's 20 years old. And we're talking about a program that was designed back then to run stuff from the future. So I think it's pretty amazing that it worked. It plugged in and worked, and like I said, I'll be sharing it, I'll be giving it away because I'm so impressed that it still works. I'm like, wow, this was amazing that this old code, 20-year-old code, is running without me having to do anything to it. And not only is it running and working, I could actually have it execute new formats that are brand new, like created this year, and it'll still work. So that's how good that code is. So I'll be giving that away. So look forward to a bunch of free stuff coming from this end, from my days as a programmer. And I'm working on some games. I'm contemplating making a game and letting viewers here on this channel appear in the game. Maybe we'll even change it a little bit. I kind of want to finish out the project, so I don't want to change it too much, but I might change it a little bit to reflect reality and everything that's happened in the the games themselves are about 30 years old. 30 years since the game was started, and I didn't finish it. So I'm going to finish it like 30 years later, and we can take a look at it and add new stuff, including people into the game. So some of you that are on this channel that want to appear in the game, I may give you an opportunity to do that. So you can be immortalized in a video game that took me 30 years to write. It actually took less than 30 years, but it took 30 years to finish it. I started it about 30 market. I'm gonna buy some meat and some veggies, so hopefully you'll see me cooking in the RV later with real food. instead of canned stuff. I want to thank you all for joining me. I hope everyone's staying safe. And cross your fingers that it doesn't open up and start pouring, which it looks like it might do soon. So take care, everybody. God bless you all. Please stay safe. Potato says to give me more ribs. Let me get some ribs. I'm going to put you guys in at Potato Gaming. If you really want to be in the game, I will include you in the game. But I'll show you the game, how it is right now, how I got developed, the prototype I had developed to show my boss. And I think I may finish that version if I can find a source code for it. I don't even know if it was written in C or Pascal. Of course, I have to dig all that up, try to install the operating systems and stuff. But see, the good news is, remember the two computers I bought? I bought computers that had Windows XP on it. And I think the system was it was developed either under Windows XP or under DOS. So I'm basically going back in time with old computers. If I can dig up all my old source code and all my old development tools and set the directories and stuff up the same, I jump back 30 years. So 20, 30 years, you're going to see a 20, 30-year-old Denoy going back to programming. So we're going to try to finish all these old projects and close them out so that, I will have more stuff that I can release. All right, it looks like we're losing data. We're losing connection anyway, so I'm going to go. So Tim wants to appear in there. So start thinking what you want to be. Well, let me tell you what the game will be once we get it going. Maybe I'll show it to you guys. And it is the original game, which I may keep it in that format. It has to do with think of medieval type games, like fantasy, science fiction, not science fiction, but swords and sorcery and dragons and monsters and knights and kings and queens and ladies and bad guys, evil overlords. So, and then of course you can have common people, so I'll put you guys in it if you want to be in it, and you will be forever immortalized. So until next time, everyone, take care, stay tuned, look forward to all those basically time travel videos that we're going to be doing. We're going back in time. Bye-bye, everybody.